11. LeBron baptizes James Johnson. LeBron has so many memorable dunks in his career, but this dunk had a lot of aggression to it. The dunk itself is incredible. LeBron's head is almost level with the rim at the peak of his jump, and he throws down a vicious dunk on someone the same height as him. Note, this is at home, in the playoffs, and against a solid defender in Johnson. The reaction of LeBron's teammates only makes it better. LeBron lets out an extended roar. Cleveland's bench goes wild. 10. Derrick Rose facial dunk on Dragic. It was any January night in 2010, dark and cold. The Bulls were playing the Suns in Phoenix. Derrick Rose was in his second season, a year before being named MVP of the regular season, the youngest player in the history of the NBA to be so. Rose's game was simple enough: attack. Attack always. Total aggression. It was heavy metal basketball. So, knowing what Rose is going to do wasn't the problem. It was trying to stop him that was problematic. After corralling the pass from Thomas on a break, Rose streaked to the basket with Suns guard Goran Dragic in pursuit. Rose leaped in the air as if he were bouncing on a pogo stick, while Dragic tried to rise and get in his way. But Rose just kept going up and slammed the ball through with two hands, his momentum carrying him to a baseline landing spot and destroying Goran Dragic. But before we jump in, please remember that if you've enjoyed the video thus far and can't wait to see which dunk is the most disrespectful in the last decade, then please remember to hit the like and subscribe buttons and make sure to tell your friends and family about the journey we are about to embark on. 9. Dwayne Wade over Anderson Varejão. It was at this moment LeBron James decided to join up with Dwayne Wade in Miami. Okay, probably not, but you get the point. During the 2009 season, when the Cavs traveled to Miami, Wade gave us one of the best individual dunks of his polished career thus far. Wade recovered the rebound of a blocked James dunk and dashed down the court. With his eyes up, Wade began scanning for an open man with James in his rear view. When thinking about what happens next, one can only thank the basketball gods that Wade decided to keep the ball on his possession. Wade, unable to find an uncovered teammate, shifted gears and drove through the paint with his eyes now set on Anderson Varejão, who jumped a few inches off the ground, taking a very soft, light approach to stopping Wade. Wade jumped up with aggression, and the fire in his eyes proved he had only one outcome in mind. He knocked poor Varejão to the ground, where he slid into the foot of the goal and nearly into the media on the sideline. Wade, drawing a foul as well, stared down Varejão and stepped over his legs Iverson style. The dunk and disrespectful follow-through earned him a standing ovation from the crowd as Wade's teammates basked in the glory of the events that had just taken place. 8.
Oh, got that steal too.
And here he goes.
Here we go.
PG
What you got?
puts
Oh,
on a shot.
yeah!
Paul George's ferocious dunk on Birdman. The 2012-13 playoffs served as Paul George's arrival. He averaged 10 points over his first two seasons with the Indiana Pacers, then jumped to 17.4 and made the All-Star team in 2012-13. But he first looked like a star that postseason. PG averaged 19.1 points on the way to an Eastern Conference Finals matchup with LeBron James's Miami Heat, and he punctuated the playoff performance with this monster jam during Game 2 of that series. It gave him 2 of his first 22 points during the Pacers' win in Miami. 7. Larry Nance Jr.'s Statue of Liberty. It may be unfair to other candidates to give Larry Nance Jr. a few extra imaginary points for going with the Statue of Liberty dunk. Honestly, it's kind of the way the ex-Los Angeles star always dunks. But seeing it deployed through contact and against a 7-footer who's always been a solid rim protector, Brook Lopez, is just the extra amount of style needed. Nance gets more bonus points for the facial expression afterward. And this play has that fun little levitation illusion that often happens when a dunker is stalled in midair by contact with the defender. 6. Giannis Antetokounmpo jumps over Tim Hardaway Jr. to flush alley-oop. In any language, what Giannis Antetokounmpo did to Tim Hardaway Jr. was simply devastating. There are good dunks and there are great dunks. And then there are dunks that are just completely ridiculous and have no business being on an NBA court. And then there's this dunk by Giannis Antetokounmpo. Nah, he really jumped over a man in the middle of a game. For real. Go ahead, I'll give you a second. You can run that back just to be sure. The Greek Freak showed off his uncommon athletic talent in the Bucks' win over the New York Knicks by jumping over the 6'6" New York guard to complete an alley-oop. The dunk came in the third quarter with the Bucks leading 60-50. Antetokounmpo, who finished with 23 points, 11 rebounds, and 6 assists, was the trailer on a 2-on-1 fast break when teammate Chris Middleton lobbed the ball up to the 6'11" star.
Chris was going down. I knew he was going to throw me the lob.
was bad pass by Chris, but I was able to, get up and go get the ball. I did not see him hard away out of the mid, so I just went up there and just went hard and tried to get the ball and dunk the ball.
5. LeBron James dunk on Jason Terry. The Miami Heat and Boston Celtics had great battles at the beginning of the decade. LeBron took every game against his rivals seriously, as they were the team that sparked the decision. In a nationally televised game in March, the Heat were facing the Celtics. Dwayne Wade was able to steal the ball in the middle of the second quarter and pass to Mario Chalmers. Chalmers passed to Norris Cole, who then threw the lob to James. Jason Terry was too late on the jump, and the result was a beautiful poster.
I don't know if you had a chance to see the tweet, but DeAndre Jordan tweeted, touche, sir. Touche. Just your thoughts of the elevation.
No, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it yet. Check it out. So, but I did see DeAndre Jordan. I was in my living room watching that live. So, he said touche. Must have been pretty good.
Did you even see Jason down there?
Yeah, I seen him down there. I guess he didn't see me.
4. DeAndre Jordan dunk over Brandon Knight. Lob City was headlined by Chris Paul and Blake Griffin. These two players were unstoppable when they hooked up for alley-oops. The secret weapon for the Lob City Los Angeles Clippers was DeAndre Jordan. Jordan caught a high lob from Chris Paul with two hands, looked at the ball, and then slammed it with one hand. Brandon Knight just happened to be in his way, but he was no formidable obstacle. 3. J.R. Smith makes an alley-oop out of thin air. No one will ever convince me that then New York Knicks guard Pablo Prigioni was even trying to throw an alley-oop pass on this play. He turns the corner after the ball screen and throws a one-hander that's closer to a dart than a lob. It was maybe 5 feet off the ground when J.R. Smith caught it. But that didn't stop Swish from taking off before catching the pass and turning it into an impromptu reverse alley-oop. Sure, he could have just caught the ball and laid it in, or even finished with a more traditional dunk. Instead, he pretty much created an alley-oop out of nothing and went reverse for good measure. 2. Blake Griffin's 2 dunks over Pau Gasol. Blake Griffin in his prime put a lot of fear in his opponents. He has some of the most monstrous dunks in NBA history. His goal going into games was to put someone on a poster. Pau Gasol was a victim twice in the same game. The first time he caught Gasol trying to rebound the ball and just jumped behind him and manhandled the rim. The second time was off a pick and roll executed to perfection between him and Chris Paul. Griffin caught the pass and dunked through Gasol. 1. Blake Griffin destroys Kendrick Perkins. The former Clipper star had a similar dunk over Timofey Mozgov, although he didn't actually touch the rim on that one. He also had that absurd spin and slam over Danilo Gallinari in transition. But an arbitrary limit of 1 moment per player forced me to settle on this utter destruction of Kendrick Perkins and his attempt to contest perhaps the greatest in-game dunker of all time. Here's a fun game. Try to pause the video at the peak of Griffin's jump. No matter where you land, you'll likely start giggling to yourself over how ridiculous this play is.